Hi, this is Light and Bone Tarot, and we are doing a reading for what are you hiding and why. So here we have 4 pictures of sunglasses, and the question is going to be what are you hiding? I mean, even if it's little, if it's big, we'll find out. And really, why are you hiding it? And this might turn into a relationship reading. They all seem to. But yes, please take a look at these pictures and figure out which one you want to take, and then we will go from there. Thank you so much. Hello, and thank you. You are here because you picked pile number 1, or picture number 1 rather, and this spoke to you. This made you think something about what you are hiding and why. So yeah, let's get right into it. I'm going to get to learn a little bit about you right now, because that's always interesting and good food for thought on this. So let's get started. Okay. I like putting down an oracle card in the middle. I enjoy that. Okay. All right. So we've got Find Your Sacred Flow, and we're going to work around this with a couple cards that help me realize who you are, and this is going to speak to what you might be hiding or what you are hiding. Okay, but this is just about you. So right now, if I see Find Your Sacred Flow, I see them 6 of Wands, 7 of Cups. Oh my goodness, that was really hard for me to figure out what those were. 6 of Swords, and then the Ace of Wands. I'm going to say that you are... Okay, I'm going to say for when you're mysterious, I'm going to say there's definitely, excuse me, there's definitely some mystery to you. And I think that right now you're in a bit of a transition. And I say that because, yes, the 6 of Wands, or pardon me, the 6 of Swords does make me think of someone who is moving from, I don't know, just moving in some way, not necessarily escaping or running from, but a little hint of just seeking a change. Although there's a positive feel there. But with that change, when I see the Ace of Wands, it makes me think that right now you're seeking also like you're looking for inspiration. You're looking for new potential. Something either felt stagnant or it felt like it just wasn't real or authentic. I think there is something currently that you are actively leaving behind and looking for. And when I think about what, oh my goodness, excuse me, this candle, I swear it gets in my lungs. When I think about what you could be looking for, I think it's like maybe, I mean, it could be just as obvious that you want more recognition, and I say that because this is a card of recognition, or it could be that maybe some people around you that you don't think should get the recognition are getting the recognition. But yeah, you're definitely looking for something new, and you're a little jaded or disenchanted with the current situation. So as far as what you're hiding, and we have your Find Your Sacred Flow in here, I feel like a little bit like what you're seeking. You're seeking something more authentic. You are seeking a situation in which if people are rewarded, if you're respected, if you're applauded, and this would go for you or anyone around you, it's done for the right reasons. And I think there's been an imbalance of energies and the flow of like good, bad. I just think there's been a bit of an unjust situation that you've been a part of, and you've had enough, and you are leaving it. I'm not sure exactly what you're hiding. We won't get there, but yeah, let's find out a little bit about what you could be hiding, and then we'll get into like how we would develop that. Okay, so we've got some 2s, 2 of Pentacles. This is a choice with your 2 of Wands, and then the Mother of Cups. And I'm just going to start with the Mother of Cups because when I see a card like this, I like to believe whoever I'm reading for or who's ever hearing this is the Mother of Cups, which would mean that you are this very, very like just nurturing, someone who is loving, someone who really is kind, and someone who really cares. There's a compassion there. There's a desire to make other people happy. It is that very, I mean, nurturing is the perfect word for it. And it's in a sincere, or at least a mostly sincere way. So if you're the Mother of Cups and you feel like it would, something that wasn't fair or was out of whack or out of balance, would strike you a little bit more, because you would be that more empathetic person who just didn't like the way things were. And this could be in a personal situation, in a romantic and professional. There's many different ways you could find yourself not feeling like things were just, but yeah, whatever it is real, and it did, this is affecting you, and you are essentially leaving as a result. But this is a card of things being out of balance, and this is definitely a card of choices. So I think right now you are seeking to make a choice, and that if you're leaving, there's so many things. There's so many decisions. Just leaving in general is a huge decision, and then what direction do you go, and why, and what motivates you, and do you? I mean, so many things, obviously, for so many different scenarios. But it is it's a big thing to leave, and I don't think you left because you had to. This was your choice to leave. And the interesting thing here is the question is, what are you hiding? And I think we're gearing up towards like, this made you feel exposed. I think there's something about this, like maybe it's something from your past that was triggering, or I just think something about whatever it was that drove you to want to change your current situation. It triggered something, I believe, from your past, and probably something you don't talk about very often, something that doesn't, maybe it's something I wouldn't say you're not proud of it, because there's plenty to be proud of in an experience, but maybe it's just something that is hard on you, or if you bring it up, it becomes a big conversation. We'll see. But I'm going to put on 2 oracle cards, and I want to just get a little bit more that would like highlight, what are you hiding? Like what's the deal here, and why? So we're going to do Nourish the Sacred Feminine and Rise. Okay, so with Nourish the Sacred Feminine, this to me, it's like a okay, in this context, I would take it as like a standing up for yourself card. I would see this as something where like I think you're I don't want to be like women's rights, because that's so broad and non-specific and like obvious in a way, but I do think there are things that if you are encountering any sort of like chauvinistic energy, and that can go from the littlest things to something very major, but I just think that this really strikes a chord with you, and I do get the feeling that you just weren't either being respected in the right way, or something was someone or something was treating you in a way that made you just feel just kind of less than. But I think it struck a little bit more of a chord with you, and I think it did come down to you either feeling not safe or just disrespected in a way that made you feel a little icky in your core. And I think this is something you want to rise above, almost like a challenge. I think there's something about your past and this experience or these feelings made you feel like it just brought up those old feelings. And if I say, what are you hiding? I can't say what it is you're hiding. Although I get that's the whole point of the reading. But I would say that what you're hiding is something to do with like a part of your past, an experience that maybe you haven't fully recognized, or you haven't sat with, or you haven't talked about enough. But I think there's something you really need to address that you haven't really addressed. And maybe, like I said, it's something you don't talk about and it doesn't come up that often, but when it does, it really, it can be pretty hard on you. And I don't know what that is. I could speculate, but it wouldn't even be genuine. I would just be, thinking of things that could be scenarios. To understand, or to try to understand it, I would have to pull a lot of cards specifically about what could have happened Anyway, I guess my whole point is that I'm not trained to do that, and I don't have the gift to go back and understand someone's past, but I do get the feeling. I'll just leave it at that. I get the feeling there's something from your past that you are hiding, and it came up and it was an issue for you. And again, this can be relationship, professional. Let's get a little bit more about what this could be that you're hiding. A little bit more about what it might be. And I'm trying to make this show more. Let me move everything up like an inch and see if this helps. Okay, thanks. Bear with me here. Okay, that helps. We're getting a little more visibility here. Finally, took a month, but I'm now figuring out the parameters of my camera. Okay, so a little bit more about what you're hiding or what could be the issue more so. I'm gonna say lots of twos, two, two, two. And to that point, lots of sixes. Six, six, six. I mean, we basically only have twos and sixes on the board, and then all the rest are majors. So we definitely, I don't know much about numbers at this point, but we have twos, sixes, and major cards. That's it. That's something to not ignore. So that could be something like 26, a date, an age. It can be 2 + 6 = 8. It can be the age 8. There's definitely something with 2, 6, 26, or even 8, which makes me think there could be some significance for you as an event, a life event. I'm not sure. And again, I wish I could go into that more. So the moon is more of like something to further instill. There's a little mystery. This might tell me that you aren't even sure exactly that you could even pinpoint what this source of, I use the word ick a lot because I think it can mean so many different things, and it doesn't have to mean like this, like recoiling kind of feeling. It's just that little unsettled, that little curdle in your stomach. So this makes me think there's even like, this is kind of shrouded in mystery for you. But with the Six of Pentacles and with the Two of Swords, I do feel like there's a kindness. I feel like there's a kindness here with the Six of Pentacles, and there is I'm really trying to think. There's a decision with the Two of Swords, and I don't see this card come up very much. And this is similar to me. This is similar. Oh, we have a 7 on the table, but anyway. Okay, sorry. I think someone that you cared about that was very kind to you or was very kind at some point in your life that you probably trusted. I think something happened with this person, and I don't know, maybe you thought they were one way and they weren't. Maybe they gave you an ultimatum and it just didn't work out. I don't know, but I do think there's something around like a decision or a giant question mark around someone who was, like I said, a kind person, probably kind to you, but also something a little bit mysterious. Like, I don't know if you knew this person very well. I mean, this is such a vague reading as to what are you hiding. And I guess if I just start to like sum this up without it getting like too weird and heavy, I would say you're in a situation right now where you're leaving something behind because you're leaving in a good way. You're seeking something new. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with the fact that you're leaving. Things are going to be better for it. But I'm seeing that someone was being, like I said, either recognized or applauded for reasons that you just saw right through and you really weren't comfortable with it. And this could be a relationship. It could be just anything, right? It could be anything. It could be a neighbor, but just something that made you leave a situation. So we have that up here, and maybe you really weren't even sure why this bothered you. Maybe there's something about this that you're like, I know I want to leave, but I can't even put my finger on why, or why is it affecting me so much? Like, why am I thinking about it? Why is it so consuming? And then we get down here, and I just wanted to get a little bit about you right now. And I do think you're a very, like, almost sentimental, caring, compassionate person. And I do think that this you really had to think about this. You really had to like make a decision. Is this the right move? Is it the right time to change something in my life? Like, am I doing the right thing? And you determined that yes, you were. And that's fine. That's this up here. And then I also see in these cards that whatever bothered you, I think it does have something to do with like an element of not getting, you weren't seeing something done in the right way. There wasn't enough respect given. And I just think there was a bit of a chauvinistic energy to this, or something, just maybe you're a female and something just didn't play out right. Maybe you're, I don't know, in a situation where people aren't respecting your sexuality and were treating you unfairly. I don't know, but I just get a feeling that there's something to do around like a feminine energy that really, and maybe you just saw this happening to someone else. It didn't even have to play out with you, but whatever it was, it made you uncomfortable enough. And now I'm trying to figure out what this was. Why did this strike a chord with you? And I can't figure out what it was, but I can say that it goes back to something in your life that I think there was someone who you cared about, who was very kind, but was always mysterious. Maybe not someone you knew very well, but maybe had some interaction with. And somehow I just feel like there's a connection between whoever that person was. And this is so vague. You know, this could be a teacher. This could be a neighbor when you were a kid. This could be, I don't know. I mean, it could be a step parent, like, but just someone that somehow there's a connection between what this made you, what up here made you feel, and what this energy of this person is. And beyond that, I really, really don't know, because it's a hard like space to read in. But if we get into what are you hiding, it's not like you're hiding something bad. I think you're just not, you're not revealing to yourself what those emotions are that were your driving motivation for changing your situation. So I guess you're hiding a part of your past or a part of your history that probably should be talked about with someone, or, you know, at least like journaled about, or something that you would benefit from like bringing to the surface a little bit more. But I do see that you're in a good place. Yeah. And so let me see. I want to figure out what I can do with this. Where are you headed? Let's see where you're headed. I got 2 cards on that. So we've got the 2 of Cups. Why am I having such a hard time recognizing cups? Another 2 and a 3 of Wands. So for the 2 of Cups, these are great cards as far as where you're headed. The 2 of Cups is like a romantic card. You know, this is love. This is like genuine partnership. And it can be, you can apply this to so many different partnerships, but it is a very sincere, sweet, loving, caring energy. So I love this. I love to see this. I love everything about this. Wherever you're headed, I think there's goodness and kindness there. There's love and respect. And then with this, I do think that where you're going, this is kind of a card of like making those decisions, that foresight, that really like looking out and contemplating your next move, how you want to expel your energies. And you had a big choice. You know, we definitely saw that you had the choice here. You had the inspiration, you had the choice, and now you're really contemplating your move. And this move could be from a job, it could be from a home, it could be from a relationship, it could be just nothing, but mentally you're like, things are shifting and here's my plan moving forward. Some little thing. So I think you're definitely headed in the right direction. I think your mind's right, but you are, you're just hiding a little piece of your past, which we all are. So there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't know if you even know what this is, but this is what I'm getting out of the cards. And let me see, like, I'll ask, is this something that you want to reveal, that you want to share with people? Like what are your thoughts on this thing that you're hiding? So we've got the 9 of Wands, the 9 of Swords and the 8 of Cups. And so this makes me think this is something heavy for you. This is definitely, we're going to have to end this on a happier note than this, but this is anxiety. This is nightmares. And this is like completely leaving something behind, like just leaving a situation emotionally, physically. It is like the card of moving on. So I will say that obviously I don't know what happened, but whatever you're dealing with, and I'll say more to the point that you're dealing with this versus hiding it. This is your own personal private issue. What's private to you, I guess, is another way of putting this. What aren't you telling people versus what are you hiding? It is a big deal for you. It is something that I'm sure you would open up to certain people about this, but it is your own, it's just a part of you. But I do see that I don't know if it's still causing you anxiety, but at one time it definitely did. It was definitely a very real and hard thing for you at some point. This could have been parents divorcing. This could have been something very unpleasant that happened to you when you were younger. It could have been witnessing something unpleasant. There's a lot of things, but it affected you. Let's put it that way. And you did have to leave it behind. You did have to move on from this. I think in every sense of the term, you left this part of your world behind, and maybe you got a little glimpse of it up here and you're like, I can't, I won't, I can't, I'm moving on. So less to the point of what you're hiding, there are these things that still, you're you, this is a part of your past, it's going to be a part of your future. And I guess the question is, do you want to talk to whoever's in your life about it, or find someone to talk to, or open up about it? Or do you just want to keep it to yourself, or handle it exactly how you have been, which is when it arises and it doesn't feel right, you leave the situation and you things get better because things are looking up for you completely. And I'm not saying they were ever looking down for you. I just think you saw something and you decided to change your situation. But yeah, it looks like there's definitely a love and partnership. You've thought about this. You've contemplated what you're doing. It wasn't hasty. It wasn't done out of like anger or spitefulness or revenge or anything. I think you really took the time to be like, does this feel right? You sat with your emotions. You really thought about it. So yeah, whatever is on your mind or whatever's a part of your past is yours. I mean, we all have these things. So I just hope that, I hope this transpires, that you've got this really exciting path in front of you, because it looks like you do. So I think that's very, very nice, and I'm happy for you. And I am going to get a good luck charm from Spirit. I enjoy doing this. It's kind of like, just a little, hey, remember this, because I want to give you a good luck charm. I think you could use one. And we've got the Creator water, and cups is water. You're the Mother of Cups. You recognized a problem in the cups, and then you've got beautiful cup and water energy coming your way. So I would say water feels good to you. Water's a happy place for you. Water's like a very nice medium. Just stick with your water. If you're not a water sign, incorporate either way. Even if you are a water sign, incorporate some of that into your world, and really enjoy yourself and find your smile. And I'm sure you will. So please, I just want to ask anyone who's gotten this far in this reading to interact with my video in any way you feel comfortable. It would really help me. So a comment would just light my world up, especially if this did strike a chord or touch you in any way. So thank you so much for listening, and I just hope to be able to read for you again. Thank you. Good night. Thank you so much for being here and letting me read for you. This is Light and Bone Tarot, and I am doing a reading on what are you hiding. You picked pile number 2, picture number 2. We've got, again, sunglasses with some pink. But yeah, something in this is going to share a little bit with you about what you're hiding, or what you're, not revealing, rather. That's, I think, a more gentle way of putting it. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start with an oracle card. I just shuffled these, but I'll give them another shuffle here. And I want to find out a little bit about you right now, what your current situation is like. All right, shift the way to new potential. So that could mean a lot of things. That's not supposed to happen. One second here. Love these little devils, but they do slide around. Okay. And then we've got, I like the 6 of Cups. It's always a good one. Father of Pentacles, great. High Priestess, and the Tower. I mean, we got a mix. Uh, okay, what? This is I mean, this is a powerful top line here. Shift the way to new potential can mean there's positive change, you're evolving, you're growing. It could mean you let something crash and burn, and as a result of that, you are like literally stepping into your own, which I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take that. I'm also gonna go and say with the High Priestess that you are you're revealing things about yourself. I think you never revealed. I actually think you are revealing more than you've ever revealed. However, this is still a card of secrets, and I do think that you have some secrets. But not, I mean, it's not bad to have secrets. We all have secrets, but there's something extra secretive about this. But I also do think you've done some growth here, and you are showing more of yourself than ever before. And I think there was something maybe, I don't know, I don't want to say catastrophic, but something like major in your world that recently shifted or changed. And it's kind of brought about a little bit of a change in you. I see you as the Father of Pentacles. Maybe you weren't before this change, but I do see you that way now. And this is a really, this is someone who's very secure. They're very grounded. They're very they're confident. They know what they're doing. They're thinkers, they're ponderers, they are reliable. It's a very solid, sturdy energy. But it's also someone, I mean, I guess all the kings can hide a lot, but I do feel like the Father of Pentacles could hide a lot because they come off as being so together and having everything together and kind of like embodying almost all the suits in a way, because, you know, if you're the Father of Pentacles, you have to be very sharp and witty. You have to be, like kind of shrewd, but then you also have to be kind. You have to win people over. So I do think this is someone that could have some secrets to them, and definitely the High Priestess. And your Six of Cups is, I mean, that's a sweet, youthful energy. There's an innocence here. There's a getting back to basics. So if I look at you right now, yes, I think something changed in your life. I think you were even more secretive than you are now. I definitely think you have, you keep your cards close. And although you present as the Father of Pentacles, I do think you are really more of the High Priestess. But yes, when people look at you, if they don't know you, they're like, this person. It doesn't mean you don't have it all together. I think you've got it all together. Actually, you just have, there's a lot of layers to you. And I almost want to say you masquerade. I mean, you are the Father of Pentacles in a lot of ways. You're obviously moreover, as I said, the High Priestess. But I think that you might almost throw people for a loop because I think you come off as being a lot sweeter and like, I don't want to say kinder than you are, but I think you're a lot more shrewd, and you might even be a little bit more unforgiving than this sweetness that you come off with. And that might be in the first way kind of what you're hiding. I think you're masking a part of yourself. And I do think that you hide under this very, very sweet persona, when in fact you're quite layered. And I don't know that you're even that sentimental. I think you are very quick to let things kind of change and evolve and run their course. And I get this. I like this top line for someone. I think I have parts of this in me where it's like there's a mix of being, sure, you're sweet. You can't fake being sweet. If you're nice to someone, you're nice to them in that moment. So it's not like it's fake. It's just there's a lot more to you. You are really always thinking about like what's behind the curtain and what the next layer looks like, what the next conversation is going to go like. I think you're very calculating. And I think you hide that, to be quite frank. I think that so far we're just getting to the point that you, let me get a little bit more about you and we can see more about what you're hiding. So Father of Swords, we'll definitely say you're the Father of Swords as well. We will say that this is the Nine of Cups and then the Daughter of Swords. Okay, let me think here. So Nine of Cups, beautiful card. We'll call it the wish card. I think you work hard in a lot of ways. I think you're successful. I think you have a lot of beautiful things. I think you work hard to get what you want, and as you should. It is a great way to be. I think that appearances are somewhat important to you. I think you keep up appearances. I wouldn't say you're materialistic, but then I wouldn't say you're not either. So, and fine, that's great. That's just who you are. Maybe you were born that way. Maybe it makes you happy. It doesn't really matter. But I do see that, yeah. And if you're the Father of Pentacles, why not be the Father of Swords too? Because this is more of that cunningness. And again, I think you hide this. I think you, and even with this, like, I feel like you have this kind of almost like regal appearance. I think you can tend to put on a show externally, which would further hide maybe the different layers that are you. And I don't want to make it seem like you're not a good person. I think you're interesting. I think you're smart. I think you're all sorts of things. But I just think that I don't know why you don't lean into this other side of yourself. And I think probably some colleagues or coworkers might see it, but I think like your closest friends and maybe the people who are closest to you don't really see what you're all about. Yeah, not bad though. I mean, you're fascinating, and I think you're quite happy. There's nothing here to make me think you aren't happy. It's just a different side of you. And the Daughter of Swords is the one card on the table that I'm not exactly sure how to interpret. This is almost like a curiosity. This is like an innocence. It's I don't know, their thoughts of like, and this could go back to kind of, if I take it back to the Six of Cups, there still is this part of you that might be, I think this sums up that you are genuinely sweet. And I think you do have thoughts of being very good and maybe even wanting to be a little bit just softer than you are. And this card kind of softens you. There are cards that could soften you more, but since this is like an attributing a personality to you, I will say this is like the softest card on the table, and I like it. And I think with this card too, there is a sincerity behind it. Like this is a genuine interest in getting to know a situation or people, maybe reading them a little bit more intently versus sizing someone up. This is more of like a wanting to get to know or a genuine interest card, which I think is something you are working on. I would say that you are definitely working, and that could go with shift the way to new potential. You are working on this, I will say, which is a shift. It's a shift in thought, it's a shift in action, it's a shift in your habits, and yes, it will bring new potential for you. So this is, I mean, you're dynamic. Yeah, let's get a little bit more about, what are you hiding? I'm going to pull 2 cards on what you're hiding, and we'll get a little bit more. Actually, I'm going to pull 2 oracle cards and flank them with cards about what you're hiding, because I think that's going to help me understand you a little bit better. So we've got Befriend the World, Polarize, and Gratitude again. So, Polarize, it's like you could say, look at things through a new lens, zoom in, like look at things in like high def. It's just that it makes me think like really just really see things that are right in front of you, and things that maybe you didn't take time to notice, maybe in people and situations. Because I do think that you probably spent maybe like a decade being pretty stern, pretty maybe a little too into like making money or focusing on the wrong things. Maybe just a little too, just focused on the wrong things that didn't feel wrong at the time, but maybe looking back, you're like, that decade really didn't serve me. And I think there is an energy where you want to get into being a little bit softer and nicer and kinder, and just getting to know people, maybe getting to know situations and people a little bit better. And then with the gratitude again, I mean, I don't know if you ever practice gratitude. I try to, and it's very hard to do, or it's like a discipline, it's a practice. So I'm not saying I don't think you did because of the cards. I'm just saying I don't know if you did, because it's a hard thing to do regularly. But if you ever did, do it again. Then do it again. You should continue with this, and just try to find things to be thankful for. Try to find good in people and situations, and try to lighten up a little bit. I do think that you can be very heavy and maybe judgmental of yourself as well, equally of yourself and equally as others. But yeah, and it's funny because I say this sometimes when I read, or probably a lot more than I realize, but I do know this energy. I know this person. I get this. I mean, so many readings, I can be like, oh, wow, I really get this. Like this, it could be anyone really, but if you're reading this, it's really you. But yeah, I think I guess my point is you're not like an outcast. This is, I think, a very common way to be, but maybe you've just been this way for too long. And yeah, and you might also be hiding the fact that you want to change. Not only are you hiding that it's more of like less of what are you hiding and more of like, what do you really want to become? What do you want to reveal? I think is like a better title. And that played out in the last reading. It was this like, what are you trying to reveal? I think you're trying to reveal that you want to be a little bit softer, a little more interested in other people, a little less focused on yourself and the outcome that things would generate for you. I think you want to be less selfish, and you're probably you've been hiding that you are that way, which is fine. Okay, let's get a little bit more about what you're hiding very specifically, and why. Let's see. So we've got justice in the world. I mean, 2 major cards. There's only 22 in this whole pile of 78 cards. Every time I say that number, I'm like, is it really 78? Is it 84? Why? Whenever I say numbers, I always second guess. Anyway, let's say there's 78 cards in the deck. I could name every card. I just can't tell you how many there are, even though I've read the number probably 100 times. But okay. Justice, the world. I think that you feel somewhere deep down that you're owed something. And I didn't get that up here, unless maybe a little bit with like your emphasis on self. Yeah, that selfish current that runs through what motivates you. Maybe a little bit of your materialism. I do think that, but I think you feel like, something's due to you, or like you've worked so hard, it's yours for the taking. But I don't know, like, to me, when I get these 2 cards together, there's a deeper level of, I really do think you're entitled to something. But I also think you're not. I think no one's really entitled to anything. That, and yet you can't help thinking that. And maybe you have a little bit of like a bitterness or a resentment, because thinking you're entitled to something, and either just feeling that way in general, it's usually it stems from something like a bitter feeling that something that was owed to you never made it to you or something. But yeah, I get the feeling that you might have had something happen where you should have received something. Maybe you should have received a college scholarship. Maybe you should have received, I don't know, maybe you were close to achieving something great when you were younger, and it was like taken from you, or you just were so close to getting it, or you lost out to someone else. And I just feel like it's that energy that's kind of stuck with you, and you've been a little bit cutthroat ever since. And you've heightened this, like, if I want it, I'll get it at any cost kind of energy. I don't know why, I just got that out of this. And I do think that has really driven you. I think you're a very driven person. I think you're successful. I think you're probably a lot of fun to be around, because you are so empowered. Like you're not, if you're hanging out with friends and they're like, I'm hungry, where do you want to go? Like, you're going to know exactly where you want to go, and it's going to wind up being where everyone wants to go, because it's because it's always a great suggestion, and because you're so in command of what you want that people are like, oh yeah, if she wants it that bad, then, or they want it that bad, then I guess I do too. I just think you have that kind of energy. But when it's like that all the time, there's a bossiness and a demand, and there's a demand behind it. And then there's the whole thing if you don't get your way and all that. But anyway, I just think that you do feel like there was something that was entitled to you that you missed out on at some point in your life. And you probably hide that. You probably don't talk about this very often. And why would you? I mean, actually, it's an interesting story, but I don't know. Okay, let's get a little bit more about you. So 5 of Cups and then Judgment. So, you know, 5 of Cups is, oh my gosh, excuse me. It's loss. It's, I mean, it's kind of like there's a sorrow there. There's a sadness. It's that feeling of missing something, of not having something and feeling the lack or the lack of presence. And then Judgment, it's less about you being judged or you judging people. I think it's more of like an internal balance. It's your internal voice, the what you deal with, how you make your decisions. And I do think that there's probably a part of you that still deals like with what I said here, something that was taken from you or you narrowly got it or didn't get it or something like that. But it did create that loss, not achieving whatever this was or attaining it rather. It did create a loss that I do think you judge yourself for. Personally, you judge you, and it did probably send you into this pattern for the rest of your life. And this is a very, very specific reading that will likely not speak to everyone who picked this file, but there are different levels of this. I mean, you know, this could be being recognized for something at work. It could be getting your kid into like a school, you know, or these would be things that didn't happen, that almost happened, that kind of, you know, set you on this. But I think it is something bigger than happened when you were younger, and you've just been dealing with it. And how it turns into what you're hiding, again, I do think that you are a little more calculating, a little more sneaky, a little more selfish than you let on. And yet I do also think you're trying to change this about yourself. And I think you can definitely change it. And I don't even know that you have to talk to anyone about this. If you're happy and you're changing it and things are working out for you, then you'll talk to people when you're ready. You don't have to not hide it. But if this is correct, then this is what Spirit saw. This was her message for what she sees that you're hiding. And, yeah, maybe it makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. I'm going to get you a good luck card. I usually do good luck and word of warning, but I don't want to do a word of warning. I just want to give you some luck. So, here's your good luck card, and it's find your sacred flow, which is a good luck. It is, you know, you need to find yourself, I guess. Find what makes you happy. Find the balance, like a little bit of the, you know, doing things for you and then a little bit of doing things for other people. Just find them the right wheel, right? And there's a lot of circles, like with the world, that's like a wheel that turns, and it's this like cyclical kind of, you know, you're on a wheel, and it can be a new story, but there are definitely a lot of like circles on this table that make me think like things are turning, and you can evolve into someone that can be a lot softer and nicer and more accepting. And you can drop, if you do have a bitterness, I've definitely gone through phases in my life where I've been bitter about other people's accomplishments, or jealous of them in some ways. And it can really stifle you. It can make you very angry. So if you do have a bitterness that you're like taking on in your life, it can be really, really nasty, and it will only hurt you. Well, it will hurt other people too, but it will really hurt you. So, yeah, I think, and then the gratitude would really kick you out of that. And maybe that's the gratitude. Like, I'm just going to say, if there is a bitterness, if that's something you're hiding, that you're actually bitter, and this could all basically just come down to that. If you're hiding that you have bitterness, which I would hide too, because it's an ugly thing to have, but we all have it. Everyone has it. But it is if you practice gratitude, you will drop the bitter edge. You can't be grateful and bitter at the same time. So if that speaks to you, then you absolutely should work on your gratitude. And you can write stuff down every day. You can Google it and it's definitely there for you. But at the end of this, I'm going to say, I'm just going to make that be the takeaway. But you did lose something this year. This is with you for a reason. You didn't just wake up one day and decide to be bitter. It creeps on, and it might be completely legit. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I get it. So let me know. I'm just going to say thank you now and goodbye now. But please, if you have a comment about any of this, I would love to hear it. And if you like, subscribe, comment, it just really inspires me and gives me the motivation to keep doing this. So I really hope you enjoyed this, and I would really love to hear from you. So I'm just going to start asking for that for the last 10 seconds of every video. Excuse me. Thank you so much, and have a great day or evening. I hope to see you again. Thank you. So this is Light and Bone Tarot, and I am doing a reading for what are you hiding and why. I've actually figured out that this is more of like a what aren't you revealing kind of reading, but that's fine. We'll look into both of them. And you are here for picture number 3, which is sunglasses. But thank you so much for being here and for listening. And I just look forward to doing this reading for you. And if you have any comments on it, I'll just say that now. In the end, oh my goodness, I would just do anything to hear them. So thank you so much. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to do an oracle card, and then I'm going to put some tarot around it and see a little bit about, I just want to see where you're at right now. Like, who are you? Change maker makes waves. So pretty basic, but you might be someone who's either reinventing themselves a lot, changing, kind of like inspiring in that way, or inspired by change. Wow, this is a very, very lovely top line here. This would be a line that I would love to see for myself if my cards were being pulled. I mean, we've got the, excuse me, I like inhaled the candle smoke or something. Gosh. This is the Lovers, which there's no real bad way to interpret this card, although I'm sure someone could. But this is such a beautiful card. Okay. It's everything from partnerships, and it's the energy and everything that goes into making a partnership good. You've got this energy in your world right now. So you might be in an amazing relationship. This is choices, but it's like choices with like, almost choices revolving around like action, which is good. Like, should you stay or should you go? Should you keep the job or take one job or take the other job? Should you throw yourself into art or exercise? Like, it's just kind of, or at least I see it up here being there's something you're thinking about, but it's fun. It comes with a lot of fun energy. We've got the rainbows, these kind of exciting lines. And with here, strength is, I don't know, I'm seeing you as strength. You are very, very strong, but there's also like a gentle energy behind this strength. It's something like you're in command of yourself, and there's this great like self-control, courage, and yet people really it's almost like people want to be guided by you. There's this, the lion is the leader, and you take that on. People want you to kind of lead them. And this is someone who's building something, who's making things, who is working on things, and even doing it with other people. So in your home life, in your professional world, I feel like there's a lot of, ideas are being formed, or actually physically things are being created, but there's just, you're building, you're a builder of some sorts. Vague, but it could track, but my point is, this is a great top line. So where you are right now, you're happy. You've got a fully dynamic life. I think it's very fulfilling. That's the word I would take out of this card, is you're fulfilled. You are doing things, building things, and that is fulfilling, and you're doing it with other people. And it is like, I don't think you could be happier. So it'll be interesting to get into what you're hiding, because this is, okay, I'm going to ask, why are you here? Because for such a strong top line, and then we didn't really address the change maker makes waves, but I do think you like you like the evolution process of things. You like to see things through from beginning to end, and you like when things end so there can be new beginnings. I do think this kind of is exciting for you. I think you get a charge out of that. Okay, let's. Why are you here? Because things are good in your world. And if you're here because you said you're hiding something, which the moon would. Interesting. Okay, so we've got Ace of Wands, Four of Wands, which is a great card, and the moon. So why are you here? I could say, I mean, this is so specific. I'm just going to say it. I think you're in a relationship that's going quite well. And I could say that either it is like getting to a point where there's going to be a wedding, or maybe you are engaged, or you're about to be proposed to, or maybe you're about to propose to someone. There's an energy of a commitment, two people very much in love who are going to do the act of committing to one another. Like in a ceremony. And I think this is new and exciting and great. It's the Ace of Wands. We love this. This is inspiring for you. I actually think it makes you very happy. However, I do think you're keeping a secret that you aren't sharing with your partner. And this could come back to the choice card. I don't know what the secret is. I don't know if it has to do with someone else or your past. I have no idea, but there is something that you are keeping from your partner. And that's interesting because it does look like everything's great. I think you're very happy. And I do think you're happy. You wouldn't live this life if it was a complete facade. This is the life and the spread of someone who is making good decisions, who's a good person, who's doing the right thing. And we're all hiding something. So there's nothing shocking about this. But I think the fact that you've reached this point in your relationship, I think that this is now it's something that bothers you. Let's say there's something you have to talk to your partner about. And if you're not about to get married, or if you're not engaged, it could be like maybe you're about to move in with someone. Maybe you're taking your relationship to the next step. And you have something you need to share with someone. And I'm going to put 2 oracle cards down because I want to know a little bit more. I want to know more about this. I mean, we're going to find out what this is and why, but I'm going to ask. Okay, we want to know about what you're hiding. So I'm going to put down 2 cards and we're going to flank them. The sacred flow of yes and accept and receive. This doesn't really help me with what you're hiding. It just tells me that, I mean, this makes me think more and more like a proposal, or like that next stage in the relationship. I mean, and the sacred flow of yes is like you're moving forward. Things are progressing. You are allowing these advancements to take place. And I think it feels great. I actually think you're very happy about this. I think you're with someone you want to be with. I think you're in a great relationship. But I think this is starting to weigh on you. And I think you're starting to feel like maybe you're taking too much. You aren't sharing as much information as you're receiving. I just think that you are accepting things and you're receiving things, but maybe you're not giving and sharing. And that's what I'm getting from this. So let's find out a little bit about what you could be hiding. And you know what you're hiding, so it's not like I need to tell you what you're hiding, but just more of like how this can help you, how this can really help you. Like, what are you going to do about this, I guess? What are you going to do about this thing that you're hiding? So the 5 of Swords and the 4 of Cups are this is a card of loss. This is a card of defeat. It's a card of like maybe deception. You were deceived, someone deceived you. And this is basically a card of apathy. So whatever happened here has stuck with you. It's made you somewhat apathetic in certain ways. And maybe there is a side of you that is a little more apathetic, a little less loved up as you are revealing yourself or showing yourself to be. although I do see that you have this amazing, like, obviously strength, energy. I think you're great at being in a relationship. I do feel like there's exciting choices. Sure, but you, and maybe this change and enjoying making these choices, or I think you enjoy when there are choices to make, because I do think you really enjoy change, because maybe you are slightly numb. Maybe there is a part of you that is going with the flow, more than, you're acting like maybe you feel more than you do. I don't know. There's something about when I got to this line down here, it made me think that you aren't feeling maybe as much as you let on that you are, but not because you're not into your partner, or not because you're not into the situation, but because I think there's been something in you that's conditioned to want that change, and to want things to, and it probably scares you to think, if you're going to get into a serious relationship, what will it look like if you don't ever want to feel stuck. You don't ever want to feel like you're on this wheel that just keeps turning. And you do like building things. You do like having that power to build and create, because I think that really energizes you. But yeah, although your partner might know that you are this way, they probably don't know the deeper level of like how maybe jaded you can be at times, or how it affects you. And yeah. Let me get some more cards to see just a little bit about this situation of yours, and what you can do about it. So if I ask what you can do about it, which I just kind of said in the last minute, the Eight of Pentacles is a card of patience. And maybe patience is like, maybe that is less change, more seeing things through, or more patience and less pushing for the change, pushing for things to constantly evolve, letting things lie a little bit. And so I could see the patience being something you need to exercise more of. And the Fool is a fun, silly energy, which I think could definitely be you. I mean, the Fool is someone who is like, wants to set out on an adventure. They're adventurous. And I absolutely think there's a very adventurous side to you. That would be completely the energy I would get with someone who enjoys these new things and new excitement, because that is the Fool. Even if it's at the cost of their health or their sanity or their safety, it doesn't matter, because it's something new and exciting. It's kind of like their drug, and I do think, I'm going to say that maybe the energy of the Fool is something you need to maybe step out of a little bit, even though it probably is part of your allure. I do think that maybe you need to exercise a little more patience, and maybe not always search for like this adventure or this exciting edge or something. But again, you are very, like, things are good. You're happy. You're strong. It seems like you've got a very solid life, a very solid relationship. I think things are definitely advancing in your partnership. I just think that there are some layers to you that I don't think a lot of people see. And I just don't think specifically you've shared them or shown them to your partner. And the way you have shown them to your partner is probably you love creating and doing new things, building new things, seeing things, projects, that kind of thing, which it would be the change maker makes waves. And I do think you're probably the driver in the relationship. Like, you're the one that's going to bring the excitement and the energy. I think your partner probably loves that you are so into all these new things, because it just keeps things fresh and interesting. And that works. You love that they love that about you, because that is a big part of you and you love it too. So that is, but there's the reason why you're doing this is a little bit heavier. And then there is that apathy where I think if you had to sit for too long with like the same thing, you might get a little anxious. But this would tell me, be patient, and even though the Fool card's here, I just don't see how it would serve you to incorporate the Fool. I mean, you can always, if you know anything about tarot, you can find the inspiration. It might hit you one night if you think about this reading after you turn your phone off. Yeah, I mean, you might find a reason. You might understand why this card came up for you. All I can see for it right now is like that it would be something you would need to be aware of and like not feed into too much. But let's get a little bit more about. I'm just gonna do one more line of what are you hiding, because it's interesting. We've got Judgment, Wheel of Fortune, and Daughter of Wands. And so for this, what are you hiding? The Wheel of Fortune is a card that I don't really see as being very fortunate. I see it as being like this, almost like this karmic cycle. This, I don't know, I see it, I've said before, it's like a ride that you kind of want to get off, but you can't. Like, it is just this, and this is kind of almost like a redundancy. This is almost this like, you might be hiding that you are terrified of things being redundant. You're terrified of things being uninteresting or stale or not changing or being stagnant. And I guess everyone is, but I feel like for you, it creates this deep, I don't say anxiety on the board, but it makes me think that it would make you anxious. And I think you've really created a life where this doesn't happen. You are like steeped in constant change, and you've always got new sources of inspiration, and things are always, there's always exciting choices to make, and your partnership's probably very dynamic. Like, I just think things are really working, but if they didn't work this way, you could maybe fall into a bit of a funk, and you wouldn't be the person you are now. And this, I do think this weighs heavily on you. I think this is something you almost beat yourself up over, or you probably think about a lot at night when you can't sleep. Like, oh, why am I this way? Why is this happening? Why am I this way? And it's not something you really can talk about, because people would be like, well, I don't know, are you depressed? Why? Like, I don't think people understand this energy, but I get it. I get wanting things I get that need for things to change and cycle, whereas a lot of people don't like change. But I do think, like, when people do like a lot of change, it might be easy to be like, I don't know why I feel like that could be a sign of being depressed. And I don't actually think it is, but I just think it creates a little bit of like a, not a shame, but something that you hide. You just don't, you're kind of ashamed of it a little bit. And the Daughter of Wands, again, to me, this is more of this just like wanting new things. And I know I keep repeating this same theme here, but there is that like, but this comes across as, this is like almost an enthusiasm. This is like a genuine want and care for new things. This is definitely an enthusiastic, positive energy, although it's an energy that needs to be, I think, a little bit corralled. It's a very young energy. But, it's under the Ace of Wands and then the Two of Wands with decision. So I think you've got a heavy fire, a lot of passion. I think you always have to be doing something. And if you're not, I think you can fall into some pretty like dark territory. And I'm going to say dark relatively. It doesn't mean you're like, full blown out of your mind, but I just think it can be a shift from like what people see from you. And that can be, you might fall into the more moon. It's a darker energy. It's secretive. It's just a little more mysterious, but in a not so good way. But this isn't a bad reading. And, I think if you're hiding something, you're just not revealing all this to maybe your partner. If this reading is what I see it for being, and if you do go down a more committed path with them, and what the Four of Wands kind of brings about, I do think it's something you would want to, I don't know how you talk about it. I don't know, that's not really for me to say, but it might be something you want to bring up, or it might be something you just want to work on your own. But yeah, that's your reading. That's what you're hiding. And maybe there's a reason you are hiding this, and I don't really have the skill to get into why you're hiding it right now, but I do feel like there probably is a reason why you aren't bringing this to light and why this exists in the first place. And that might be something that might make you really happy if you figured it out a little bit. But I'm going to get a good luck charm from Spirit for you, because I want to give you something good to ponder. And this is your past supports your future. So whatever, I guess this is like just a reminder, like, don't beat yourself up. Don't judge yourself. You have a past. We all do. And, just use it to make yourself happy in the future. Use all the tools you have, your history, how you think, how you work, and use that to really, however you want to change in the future. If you're here watching this, the question is, what are you hiding and why? You want to learn something about yourself. So look into your past for that. And yeah, don't hide it. Just bring it to the light, which is the moon. You want to bring it to the light. Okay. I hope this wasn't too vague in the end, but, if you have any comments or any thoughts, if there's anything you want to share with me, I would love to hear it. And I'd be so grateful to hear it. So, any, comment, subscribe. I always think it's funny when people say that before I had a YouTube channel, but now that I have one, I understand, like, oh yeah, it really makes a difference when people do that. So if you can, I'd be very grateful. Thank you very much for watching this. And I just hope you tune in again and see another reading. Thank you so much. Goodbye. This is Light and Bone Tarot, and I just really want to thank you for being here and letting me read for you. This is the pile 4, and we are reading for what are you hiding and why. So there was a picture of sunglasses that spoke to you as much as sunglasses can, but it's really not about the picture. It just leads you to this reading. So even if you have no idea why you picked that picture of sunglasses, it doesn't matter. It brought you here. It's all that matters. So let's get into it. This is what are you hiding and why? Okay, let's see. So we're going to start with what's your honest truth? I don't think I've seen this oracle card yet, which is fun for me. Oh, and I'm going to get a little bit about you. This is the top line here. Son of Pentacles, Mother of Cups. I like that. Let's see, we've got your 8 of Cups, and then we've got the Star. So a little bit about you. What's your honest truth? I mean, that's a great oracle card for what are you hiding and getting into this. It's almost like this is a question asking you, what is your truth? Like, who are you? Are you being sneaky? Are you hiding something? Like, we know you're hiding something, but maybe what you're hiding is the fact that you're hiding something, if that makes sense. Maybe your game is that you're playing a game. Yeah, okay. I'm going to see you with both of these energies. And these are great, great energies. The Mother of Cups is someone who is like very, just very nurturing, very caring. There's definitely, it's someone who is empathetic. The cups make me think of romance all around, but it's just someone who cares. It's someone who wants to build and nurture those relationships. Someone who's going to like go the extra mile to know what's wrong with someone, ask the questions, figure it out. And yet, and it's almost like you can picture this little swan just engaged in conversation. She probably has like 30 little swans on the other side. And I just feel like she's really pulling people in and asking the right questions. But it's funny the way, these are both facing the what's your honest truth. And maybe you are someone who pulls things out of other people and doesn't share a lot yourself. So I just got that message. The Son of Pentacles, I do think this is you. I also got a feeling that it could be someone else in your life that represents this energy, but I'm going to say that I think you're also the Son of Pentacles. So and it's not that these are total contrasts, but this would be a very caring, nurturing, almost talkative, kind of almost busybody of a person. Whether it's authentic or not, I don't know. Whereas the Son of Pentacles is like someone who digs in, someone who gets the job done, someone who is focused. There's a routine there. It's like a young Steve Jobs, basically. You're not totally developed in a like super grounded, have your shit, all your, I didn't want to just end the word with shit, like have all your shit together. You can have your life together in a lot of ways, but the Son of Pentacles, it's like you're still trying to kind of grow something for yourself, whether that's your home, your work. You're just trying to figure out, I think, exactly who you are, like where's your place, what's your foundation, what do you stand for. It's a younger energy there. But I do think you talk a lot, and I think you definitely ask a lot of questions. I don't know that you talk a whole lot about yourself or that you reveal a whole lot about yourself. I think you are actually probably pretty private in a lot of ways, although I do see you as like a social person. This is leaving something behind. This is definitely a card of like, there's a loss. You've kind of like isolated something. And we all have, so it's not that surprising, but it did come up. And then the Star, it's a great card. The Star is like, it gives me hope. It makes me think of that, like, it's a spiritual card. It makes me think of someone who can like look to the universe for directions. Because when you wish on a star, it's almost like you're asking for guidance. You're asking for something from the universe. And it's kind of that energy of like, you are tapped in. And then with the Son of Pentacles, it is someone who does love and appreciate nature. But, yeah, but with these two cards are more of like a night energy to me, and this is more of like you during the day. I do think you're seeking something. I do think you are hiding something. And I think that you would much rather ask questions and talk about other people than talk about yourself. And that's why what's your honest truth is almost a question like, when was the last time you revealed anything about yourself? When did you directly answer a question that someone asked you? When did you open up without someone pulling something out of you? Almost like you probably aren't very vulnerable. You're just here to, I don't know, but I do think you're well liked and you're social, but there is that, this is kind of more of like a darker side of you. And even there's a little bit of a darkness here because I don't think this is more authentic. This is more of you deflecting kind of. Okay, let's get a little bit more about what you're hiding. Because I don't think that first line was a lot of fun for you. So let's find out a little bit more. Okay, so Daughter of Pentacles, a Five of Wands, and the Emperor for what you're hiding. Interesting to have the Sun and Daughter of Pentacles come up. The Daughter of Pentacles is even like a younger energy than the Son of Pentacles, but just in a young, fresh way, just trying to figure things out. You might be a little bit more lost than you put on, but then with the Emperor, because that contradicts what I just said. All right, let me just take this in for a minute. So the Five of Wands is like a conflict, a doing, like a conflict of action. And then the Emperor to me is like a very stern, almost like hardcore energy. I could see you as the Emperor. Because there's a little bit of everything here. The Emperor would be a great communicator. They would know how to pull stuff out of people. They would know how to be the young version of someone who's very, focused. They are very focused themselves. But maybe you kind of like masquerade as these people and you really are the Emperor. And that would actually make sense. So maybe you come off as this like almost more innocent, you come off a little more innocent and almost naive, kind of earthy, when actually you are the emperor. And when you're asking all these questions and when you're getting to know people, you're probably really sizing people up a lot more than you realize. You're probably very analytical. I think you have there's a sense of authority to you that even though you may not come off as bossy, you somehow always have a way of bossing or managing the situation or gearing it towards you, which for the Five of Wands, I could see this a little bit as the conflict. Like I don't think you get in a lot of fights. I don't think you have a lot of arguments, or gentle arguments, but I do think that there might be a little bit of conflict around you. And I just think it's because your personality can be a little abrasive. And I don't think you're very authentic in your personality. And actually, now that I say that, I think that's what you're hiding. You're hiding this emperor side of you. You're hiding this part of you that is a little more naive, a little more insecure. And I think you're almost like, I actually do think you're insecure, and it leads to the energy of the emperor, which would be the bad energy, which could be like bossy, domineering, kind of like a little more authoritative. Just that figure that without any grounds for being that way, like you haven't really earned it. It's a default for your own, whatever you're lacking. So what am I saying? I'm saying that you come out this way as being very talkative, very engaging, very sweet, very kind of basic, when in fact you really are you have an energy that's a lot more intense. And I think that intensity can be heavy and powerful and probably not well received. And I think it stems from an insecurity, and that insecurity is that maybe you don't have things as together as you would like. Maybe you feel like you haven't accomplished as much as you would like to. Maybe you, I don't know, didn't graduate college. I don't know, but there's like, you have this overcompensation and you're, so I think just if I get what you're hiding, I think you're hiding who you really want to be, which is a more accomplished person, a more secure person, a more confident person. And you have really no reason to want, or we all want this, but you have no reason to feel this way. This is all in your head. But somehow something happened, like it happened to all of us at some point, that made you feel like you lost something, or that you had to leave a situation, or something happened where I don't know, I guess it didn't work out the way you wanted, and I don't know. I'm trying to think. Because this over here is more confusing to me. I get all of this. But as I talk it out, I'm trying to think, like, what is the Star and the Eight of Cups? And I'll have to come back to that. But I think this is what you want. You want to be this more accomplished, more successful person. And you want that, the confidence that goes with it. And for what's the honest truth, this is actually probably a very accurate picture of who you are. You're asking yourself that, like, who are you? Who's this person that will sit down at like a party or a dinner and like talk the ear off of the person next to them, reveal nothing about themselves, and leave with all this data, and like really not even, you wouldn't even get anything out of it. And it's not even you. It wasn't even authentic. Like, really. Yeah, because that would have had you coming off as like this very confident, secure, engaging person, when actually you're probably not, which is fine. But you just need to own that you aren't that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I do think you're hiding your own truth, which is really sad, because there's really nothing to hide. I mean, that's the point. There's nothing to hide. Okay, so let me get a couple. I'm going to get 2 oracle cards, and then I'm going to get some more information about you. So this is raw intention, and then we've got your soul shine. So, I mean, your soul shines is just reinforcement that you are a really lovely person. You are probably a very good person, and you have no reason to feel insecure or like stripped down or less than at all. And you really, I think raw intention, it just tells me that you really are a good person and that you probably have a lot of drive. You probably don't give yourself the credit for being able to accomplish things that you really do want to accomplish. I see this in the star. You want a lot for yourself. And I think you're probably a little bummed that these things haven't happened or that you had to turn away from situations. You never got to see some things into fruition. Things just didn't happen for you. Maybe things like fell apart in your family life, maybe when you were younger. I don't know. Maybe again, like you didn't graduate college or something happened where you just didn't get to accomplish what you wanted to and you had to, I don't know, do something different, go to work or get a job you didn't want to get. And it just kind of led to this weird anxiety, like this anxiousness almost within you that is causing you to be like a kind of a faker person or less sincere, less honest, less truthful. Not like you tell lies, but you just aren't revealing yourself in the most raw way. And I just think you need to work on that, like your own raw intention, your own raw being. And this does say that you are a very good person, which is nice to see. Let's get a little bit more about, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like, tell me a little bit more about this. So the Chariot and Judgment. This Judgment card, and I've shuffled the hell out of these cards, has come up in every single reading. This is the 4th reading. So this is definitely the reading for Judgment. So the Chariot tells me you have a lot of momentum. You have a lot of strength. You have a lot of push. And which makes me think you are going to make something of yourself if you aren't already paving the way for that. You really are going to be something. You're going to achieve the things you want to achieve. You just have to kind of drop the act a little bit. And, if you're the Emperor and you're messy and you're a little bit more green and like show people that side of you. You don't have to always be this person where where you're so together and I keep saying engaging, but it's like, you don't have to be that person. You don't have to be so kind and nice and talkative and likable. You just don't have to be that likable. And that's kind of what I get out of the Emperor too. Like maybe stop trying to win people over. Stop trying to make people like you is really actually, I think, the big thing here that I just got to and I just saw. And maybe you think people wouldn't like you or don't like you because of something you don't have or haven't accomplished. And because maybe you are just setting out on things and starting things that you feel like other people are more accomplished on. But who cares if people don't like you? Because I don't think a lot of people really like the Emperor. I think they respect him, or they listen to him, or they see him as like, someone who's smart and knows what they're talking about. But the Emperor can be a pretty difficult, hated person. Just kidding. You're not either of those things, but you also just don't have to work so hard to win people over. But yeah, I definitely think you have the drive, and I think you have built up this momentum and things are happening for you. And this is a card, like, just don't judge yourself so heavily. The Judgment to me is like your own internal judgment. There's this like weight inside of you that is like constantly this like, just loosen the reins a little bit on yourself. Let yourself just be a little more free. Find your path, your truth, your destiny, whatever. I just think that you need to come into your own a little bit and just loosen up on yourself. And that'll give you, the room and the direction to just find yourself. I don't know, I feel like I hear myself and it can be, this might be so cheesy and cringy, but I see the message. I just think I'm using the same words to try to describe it and it's getting watered down, but I see it. I see exactly, but I just hope I've done a good job describing it. You can let me know. Okay, a little bit more about like what you're hiding and why. Funny, the Fool card came up in the last reading in the exact same position. So contrary to the last reading, I actually want you to be the Fool. I want you to be a little lighter on yourself. I want you to try new things. I want you to be unafraid to make mistakes. This is like, the Fool could fall off the ledge. This little chick doesn't know what's going on. It will probably fall off this branch. It'll be fine, but it's just it's new adventures. It's finding yourself. It's unapologetically like making mistakes and, yeah, just coming into your own and finding your stride. And I think that's really important. And this is just let all this other, if you have any negative energy, any weight, if you're dealing with like a lack of something, just let go of it, let it burn. And let these energies go too. I really feel like there's something about this that I'm like this goose, I can hear her just like talking and not shutting up. And it's kind of like, not that you do that, but that's just like this picture up here is so inauthentic that I really want you to enjoy, like, this is happy. This makes me happy. This line actually makes me very happy. And this is more you. And the star is also like, good things are going to happen. You want things to happen. You're working on them. You've got this great, sweet, sincere energy to you. And I think you're the emperor on this whole table. And there is nothing wrong with that. That is a great person to be. So own that and then be a little bit of a fool. And these are two total contrasts. So I know it doesn't make sense, but like, just don't be afraid to be less liked by everyone. And also don't be afraid to look silly or look stupid or make mistakes. Don't be afraid of the judgment. Just really, really do what you need to do for you. Just absolutely 110% do you. Who cares about the rest of it? Yeah, and I think you're hiding that you're actually probably an insecure person that is terrified of other people's judgment and who probably doesn't think they've accomplished enough in their life, which I feel like all the piles came to this conclusion. For some reason, there's like a common thread that plays out, but yeah, I just want to see you come into your own and find your own honest truth, because it will make you happy. Or you might be happy actually right now, but something tells me there's a weight you're dealing with. Although we don't really have, except for this card, which I'm not taking as the present necessarily, although I did ask about the present. But I think this is something that happened to you. I think a lot of this stems from something that happened. There was a loss, something that wasn't seen through that gave you kind of a complex. But other than that, I don't get the impression you're not happy or that you're not actually doing well and that you're not very well liked and received. I just think that it is a very tiring game that you're playing with yourself. And I just, I just want to see you have a little more fun and enjoy yourself and try new things. And I want to get you a good luck charm from Spirit, because I think you would really need one. And I just want to see you. Let's get you a good luck charm here. And this is light in the unexpected. And the Fool is, it's unexpected things. It's the unknown. It's that excitement in the unknown. And I do think you're so calculating now, and you are someone outwardly, you don't make mistakes. Everything is kind of like curated. And I just want to see you take things, just be a little bit more of the Fool and find the light there. And you know what? Maybe let this crash and burn. Fire makes a light. There's a light from fire. You might really enjoy letting this go. And you know, a star emits light, and that's like making a wish. So I'm going to say, find the part about you that you're hiding that you don't like, and just get rid of that. Get rid of that energy. Or what you're doing. And then, I think you need to come into more of your emperor, your own momentum, your own pace, your own silliness, your own path, and your own honest truth. So, I hope this reading spoke to you. Please let me know. I would absolutely love to hear about it. If you have any comment, anything you want to say about this, it would make me very, very happy to hear it. So please, really appreciate it. And just really want to thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Bye. This is my thank you that I really wonder if anyone ever watches or listens to, but it doesn't matter. It's still me saying thank you. I'm still sincerely going to thank you, and just ask you, if you are here, to please make a comment. It would mean so much. It would help my channel actually grow. It would help me do this. And just really, it would make me so excited to know that something I said could have resonated with you is huge. It's everything. So, I hope to hear from you, but just, at the very least, tune in again, watch another video. And if it makes you happy or you get something out of it, then that's the whole point. That's what I'm here for. So, okay, I'll just say goodbye and I'll leave it there. Thank you so much. Good night. Goodbye.